I decided to go fully electric with cooking in my minivan camper, which meant I needed a power system that could survive a few days off-grid, even when I'm not driving and when sunshine isn't helping my solar panels much. I already had a 1-year-old V-Toman power station, so rather than wasting it, I chose to reuse it in the build. But I still needed more capacity, so I added another battery. And this is how my so-called hybrid setup was born. More batteries means more space, and in a tiny camper, every inch matters. So the challenge was, where do I fit everything so it takes minimal room, stays easy to service, keeps wiring protected, and still looks clean? Plus, it needed to work in all situations, driving days with alternator charging, campsite stays, cloudy weather, and without blowing the budget. In this video, I'll show you how I designed and built my slim electrical module, tucked neatly between the bed and the van door, powerful enough to run all my appliances, easy to maintain, and seamlessly integrated with the rest of my camper setup. During my first year of camping during the summer of 2023, I used a basic, easy setup, a portable power station and 200-watt folding solar panels. I was also able to connect power station to my alternator via cigarette outlet to charge it while driving. I had sufficient power for a Bouge RV fridge, electric kettle, fans, and various USB rechargeable accessories like lights and a shower pump. Power station capacity was enough for about 2 to 3 days of camping. When I started planning of my build in the beginning of 2024, I wanted to significantly increase my power capacity to support a fully electric cooking setup and ensure 4 to 5 days of off-grid power, even without sun or driving. Several days with no charge may happen quite often in British Columbia, when you are staying on a campground for a prolonged amount of time and there is no sunny skies. One of the options of solving the capacity problem was to add expansion battery to my power station, to expand capacity to almost 3,000 watt-hours. But there was a small inconvenience with my power station. It had an auto shut-off feature that cut power if no draw was detected for a period of time, which was problematic for appliances that don't constantly consume energy. Also, in case I need to move power station outside the van for a few hours for recharging from 120 volts outlet, all electrical appliances in the van would have no power, especially critical for fridge content. So I decided to build permanent electrical system with a dedicated battery to power the fridge and other essential components, independent of the power station unit, while power station would complement it and work side by side as the hybrid system. This hybrid dual battery approach shaped the overall design of the electrical module. A separate inverter wasn't necessary, as the power station already had one built in, with 3 120-volt outlets, 1,000-watt load capacity, and up to 2,000-watt surges. The power station needed to be easily portable for use outside the van, let's say during power outages at home, for outdoor cooking at a picnic table, or for recharging at an AC outlet. The main battery needed to be chargeable via solar panels and the vehicle's alternator. The power station had to automatically recharge from the main battery after being used for powering cooking appliances. Space constraints presented a significant challenge during the electrical module's design and construction. The cabinet's depth was limited by the need to maximize bed width. I had just enough clearance to be able to shift bed into sofa mode and vice versa. Furthermore, the cabinet's length was constrained by the curvature of the van's sidewall, necessitating a similarly curved countertop and narrower left side wall. The power station unit, which protrudes slightly from the cabinet, had to fit under the bed. The bed's foot section even includes a dedicated cutout to accommodate the power station when the bed is in use. To fit the electrical components, I had to create cutouts in the front wall of the cabinet, gaining an additional ½ inch of space for the main battery and Renogy controller. And countertop had to be precisely cut to follow the curvature of the van door and the wall, with minimum clearance to avoid big gap, which is usually a magnet of some small items on top of the counter. When choosing the main battery, I evaluated various options from multiple manufacturers, considering maximum watt-hour capacity within the available space, the dimensions of the designated installation area, safety for in-van installation. I selected the eco-worthy metal case battery due to the following reasons: safe metal casing, ideal for automotive applications; large 1920 watt-hour capacity with a small footprint; integrated handle for easier installation and removal; However, there were some challenges to solve. Fitting the battery required cutting an opening in the cabinet's front face, which, as it turned out, not only provided the precious 1/2 inch of necessary depth, but also increased the battery's cooling surface. The lack of dedicated mounting holes or hardware on the battery casing necessitated creating a special plywood-made harness to secure the battery within the cabinet. I researched various battery chargers and chose the Renogy DCC30S due to the following reasons. All-in-one DC-DC and MPPT charging capabilities. It accepts both solar and car alternator power sources and has smart algorithm which one to use based on various factors. Ability to charge the car starter battery when the auxiliary battery is full, a crucial feature for modern vehicles with power-hungry accessories, especially during extended stationary periods at a campground. Compact design. Front panel status lights for quick monitoring. Bluetooth connectivity and app control for detailed information. My limited space presented a couple of challenges. The DCC30S requires horizontal mounting and adequate ventilation for its passive cooling system. Due to space constraints, I had to mount it vertically in a space filled with other electronic parts, which restricted airflow. To compensate, I added a 120mm ultra-quiet fan behind the unit's cooling radiator for forced air ventilation. To achieve a flush mount with the cabinet face, I built a custom removable frame to house the charger and its fan. The frame's rear panel accommodates fuses, the Renogy Bluetooth module, a power switch for the cooling fan, and a 5-volt transformer for the ventilation fans, which are mounted over the driver and passenger seats in front of the car. The Renogy One-Core display is another valuable addition to my setup. Powered by the main 12-volt battery, it allows me to monitor the charger controller, utilize the RV leveling feature, including the convenient option to level the van using a phone app while sitting in the driver's seat. I found this leveling feature particularly useful at the uneven campsites of Kicking Horse Campground in the fall of 2024. The control panel, reminiscent of an airplane cockpit, crams a multitude of switches and outlets into the limited space on the electrical module's cabinet left side wall. As previously mentioned, this wall's width is restricted by the van's curvature, and the space behind it is equally tight, making wiring a challenge. The panel includes a thermometer for monitoring temperatures inside and outside the van, a 3-way switch for the LED puck light, an in and out fan switch for the ventilation module above the front seats, 2 reserved switches for future additions such as LED string lights and other potential functions, the Renogy One-Core display, 12-volt cigarette lighter outlets with dedicated switches for devices like heating blanket, USB-A and USB-C power outlets with a switch to prevent battery drain when not in use, a propane detector. While I don't use propane for indoor cooking, I carry cylinders in the trunk for my outdoor barbecue and need a safety warning if they leak, cutoff switches for the main battery, solar input, and alternator input, compact high-capacity, up to 90 amps, power source input connectors for solar and alternator charging, and reserved 120-volt receptacle, which is currently unused. I initially installed an adjustable cable tie to provide basic cable management near the USB outputs. However, I've recently upgraded the setup with magnetic cable holders. The improvement made a big difference. Managing multiple cables for different devices is now quick, clean, and effortless. The adjacent storage compartment holds a bag containing wireless chargers and extra cables, the thermometer's outdoor sensor, which I modified with a magnet for easy attachment to the van's exterior when parked. It's crucial to properly secure the electrical system to ensure safety in the event of an accident. The last thing you want is a power station becoming a projectile during emergency braking. Electrical module cabinet. Secured to the plywood floor using a steel angle on the right side, adjacent to the sink module, and aluminum angles bolted to the plywood on the left. The right wall is bolted to the sink module cabinet for added stability. Main battery. Held securely in place by a custom-built plywood harness, designed for easy removal without requiring disassembly of the entire cabinet. Power station. Designed for easy installation and removal. Positioned and stabilized by the cabinet's front face with an added block for precise depth placement. secured from above and the sides by a custom plywood locking mechanism with oversized latches. Here are some tips and tricks I used while building electrical module. For the main battery connection, I needed one 0-gauge all-copper wire, which is expensive and typically sold in long lengths. Needing only about 4 feet, buying a large spool was impractical. I found a solution at Princess Auto, welding cable sold by the foot, available in various gauges. It is a Canadian retailer, but I think similar stores available in other countries. Several wires run from the electrical module to power the fridge, pump, ventilation, and other systems. I used electrical connectors to easily disconnect the module from this wiring network. The regular automotive connectors I purchased from Amazon proved unreliable and poorly made. I then discovered Deutsch DT connectors, designed for robust and reliable connections in industrial and commercial transportation. I'm very impressed with them, and especially liked the distinctive triangular connector with such a unique shape. You might notice a magnetic telescopic pickup tool attached to the metal folding arm behind the folding table. Its purpose within my van might not be immediately obvious. It addresses the power station auto shutoff feature, which becomes problematic when the bed is set up, blocking access to the power station controls. I lift the mattress corner closest to the power station and use the telescopic tool inserted through a ventilation hole in the bed's foot section to turn the inverter on or off. The same tool also comes in handy at night when I need to press the car's start button to operate the moonroof or windows. It's a simple but effective solution. I have a few planned improvements for the electrical module. I plan to add a Renogy battery shunt for more accurate battery performance tracking. Fitting it above the main battery will be a tight squeeze. I'll connect the string LED lights to the unused switch on the control panel. This will make them much more accessible for turning off when going to sleep, as their current switch is on the ventilation unit over the front seats. I'll connect the reserved 120-volt receptacle to the power station inverter output, allowing me to use AC-powered devices even when the bed is set up and blocking access to the power station receptacles. Next, episode number 8, Energy Sources. I will cover the following topics: my original simple solar setup, why I put 400-watt panels plus 200-watt extra if needed, my monster draft design, and why keep it simple is the best approach, panels on the crossbars, look cumbersome but have hidden benefit, running solar cables from roof to charge controller, charging on the run using car alternator as energy source, smart bi-directional Renogy controller, charges main battery or car starter battery, running cable from alternator to charge controller.